Hey mini enthusiasts, how are you doing? Welcome back. I hope you're all well and I hope you're having a great day. In today's video, I might be refitting the front subframe. Right, next job. Can you guess what it is? It's my subframe. It's been powder coated. Cost me 120 quid to get it powder coated. So let me get it unwrapped. Right, there we go. Looks lovely, doesn't it? Powder coated gloss black. Looks like brand spanking new. Pleased with that. Just need to get it built back up now. Right, not sure where I got to or where I'm at, but one of those days today of just hours and hours and hours just wire wheeling stuff off, degreasing it and spraying it. So I've gone quite straightforward, just gone in hammerite black. These lower arms I haven't touched apart from cleaning up. I've not dismantled them. That is because the car has been set up for I think 1.5 degrees negative camber on the front. So I don't want to adjust them because it's all set up for the car. Cleaned up the drive shafts. Pot joints are down there ready to go on. Yeah, just a lot of I don't enjoy doing it, cleaning stuff up like that. I enjoy the result, always looks good afterwards, and it's nice refitting the parts once they're done, but it's just a messy job. Right then, just had a bit of a sort out. I think I've got everything I need now to build up the front subframe again. I'll put the hubs on when the subframe's on the car, it just makes it a little bit lighter. But definitely want to get the upper arms and the donuts in before you go too far, because they are a bit of a pig to get in. They can be, especially if they're brand new ones. These are used, but they're good used. So sometimes you've got to compress them to get them back in. We'll see. I've obviously got high-lows on it. We've got new brake hoses. Everything else has just been cleaned up. New bump stop. Yeah, anything that wasn't right has been replaced. So yeah, I think I will probably just go on to time lapse and talk my way through this. But yeah, let's get it built up. Hey mini enthusiasts, I thought I'd narrate my way through this one because there's quite a bit of time lapse. So we're just building up the subframe here. Definitely always remember to fit that bump stop first, because it's very, very difficult to fit if you've fitted the donut first. Now I did fit the lower arm bump stop. That was a mistake because it gets in the way, so you'll see me remove it again in a moment. So just getting that lower arm in now, and everything was going fine at this stage. I did have to use the spring compressor on both sides, and it's quite important, the screw that goes through the middle into the actual donut itself, you've got to be careful not to screw that in too far, because if you do, it restricts the amount you can compress the donut itself. Now I was struggling a little bit here because the thick washer wouldn't locate fully in the subframe itself. Played around a bit, I tap it in with the drift here, and it does go in, but the problem here when I took it out and had a look again was powder coating. So I've had the subframe all powder coated. When it's done, they will go around and plug any of the smaller holes to stop their threads getting powder coated, but where big holes are like this, obviously it hasn't done, and that does cause problems when you're refitting components, and you'll see a little bit later in the video actually, it does cause a bit of a problem on the lower arms as well. So I just went around with a file and filed out the powder coating so that top arm pin fitted in okay. Always just give the top arm a wiggle once you've tightened it up, making sure it's still free. If it's binding up, then you probably want to take it apart and have a look why. So yeah, I'm refitting that lower arm bump stop back in now. So it's easier to fit it after you fitted the lower arm rather than before, just because it gives you a little bit more movement in the upper arm, sorry, not lower arm. And then you'd see me there, I just got the tower bolt and just screwed it in just to make sure the threads were clear, and they were. And I've fitted the new brake hose on the front there. Now for the lower arm, I did fit new rubber bushes, so they're like hybrid bushes on these lower arms. The inner bush is rubber and the outer bush is poly, and that gives the best mix. It stops judder under braking. So you can see here again, I'm fitting that bottom arm pin, and again I'm having trouble locating it because of the powder coating. Now, I do admit I have had a problem in the past. It was actually on the racing green where I fitted those lower arms, tightened them up. They tightened up okay, they torqued up okay. I thought they were located because they have a locating tab. They fit in a specific position. I fitted them, torqued them up, fitted the arms, all was good. Got it MOT'd, drove it around for 200 to 300 miles. I then sold the car. It ended up with Ross at Thomas Classic and Modern, and thankfully he reached out to me because the bottom pin wasn't fully located, and I couldn't understand at the time how I'd made the mistake. But now watching this back and doing it again with this powder coated subframe, it would have almost certainly been the powder coating was stopping the pin pulling all the way through, and it went unnoticed. I didn't notice it, but thankfully Ross sorted that out for me, so I appreciate his help there. This side now is going together much smoother. Always, you get practice on one side. Even though I do this on a reasonably regular basis, it was probably 2.5, maybe 3 years ago that I actually done the racing green. So unfortunately at my age, you just forget things. So same again this side, lower arm going in. I've already cleaned out the powder coating, so I know that's going all the way home now. And again, new rubber tie bar bush. And new brake hose. So I had to tighten that cone up quite a bit to get that bump stop in. It is very tight. And I'm using the original bump stops here because there was nothing wrong with them. Generally, I've said this many times before, if the old rubber on the car is good, then reuse it. New rubber is never as good as old rubber. fitting the front of the tyre bars now. Like I say, these have got hybrid bushes on them, so the front bushes are poly, and the rear bushes are natural rubber. Last thing now is the brake pipe that goes across the subframe. Again, I've mentioned before, I'm using conifer brake pipe here, which is stiffer, harder to work with than pure copper, but it doesn't work hardened like pure copper does. It does make it a little bit more difficult to bend. What I find now, if I need to make a 90-degree bend, you can buy bending tools, but what I do is I just get a socket about the radius I want to bend to. I put the socket in the vise and I use the socket as a mandrel to sort of bend the pipe around, and that ensures you don't kink it. There we go. So yeah, it just gives you a nice bend. Right, so I've had a bit of a disaster with the brake pipe, so there should be a little nipple on the end there which fits down inside the pipe to locate it. Don't know whether you'll be able to see this, but it's broken off inside. So it's very important that you get the brake pipe square in like the holding tool, which presses down and makes the flange. If you look at this one, it's off centre, so it's broken it because it's off centre. So yeah, I'll just chop this off. I'll put it back on the car, but obviously I'll probably just order a whole kit. I won't probably be able to get just that bit, but these are relatively inexpensive anyway. So I'm just going to chop the end off there, and then I'll get a new kit ordered up. Right then, so the subframe's just about ready to go in now. I've got everything bolted on, torqued everything up. I haven't torqued these front tyre bars because what I shall do is once all the suspension's back together and it's down on the level, I'll just slacken them off, make sure those bushes are not being stretched, and then tighten back up with it in sort of the right sort of height. Yeah, so this has had new... The top arms have all been overhauled with new pins. It already had high-lows on it, but I've put new knuckles on. The donuts were very, very good condition, so I haven't replaced them. We've got adjustable camber bottom arms. Those have already been set up, so I've not adjusted them. We've got new brake hoses and obviously the brake pipe, which I need to get a new tool because that's broken. But aside from that, that is pretty much ready to go back in now. I'm going to fit the hubs once it's on, just because they add a bit of extra weight, and it's quite easy to add them while it's on. So yeah, let's go. Let's get it back in. Okay, so refitting the subframe now. It's a pretty easy job, this. It's easier if you've got someone to help you just moving it around, but I'm so used to doing it on my own. Where you can, try and make life easier using a jack to lift things out. Don't struggle. It's a little bit more tricky because it's all been painted under the bonnet and the arches. I'm obviously trying not to chip any of the paintwork there. You may find some minis it can be very, very tight on the front panel. Some front panels on the later cars with 12 and 13 inch wheels They may have spacers or shims where the teardrop mounts go, just to pull the front out a little bit more. So if you've got a Mini where you've got 12 or 13-inch wheels and it's rubbing the front of the front panel on full lock, you can actually put shims between the front panel and the teardrop mounts just to give you a little bit more play. And you might think it doesn't make much difference, but a few of those shims might only be 2 or 3 mil thickness, but that will make quite a difference in the sort of space you've got at the front of the wheel arch and where you turn the wheel on full lock. In this example though, my Mini had no shims in it when I took it apart. I've no reason to think that they were missing. It probably just didn't need them. They weren't fitted on all the Minis. It was kind of a production line, not a bodge up, but they just shimmed them as they were needed. Every Mini's a little bit different. I did make a rookie error, which I'll talk about in a moment. I do need to buy some new nuts and bolts. I tried to use all new nuts and bolts when I rebuild the cars. I just buy like zinc plated nuts and bolts. I've learnt the lesson there in the past. I've used stainless steel in the past. Stainless steel's a nightmare. It's a much harder metal. They vibrate loose. You get galling with stainless steel. They look great, but they don't have the same material properties as a standard steel bolt or nut. And I had to raid the old nuts and bolts tin there. I will replace it and fit new nuts and bolts when I get them through in the post. Oh, it's hot. Right. I think the camera went off then, I didn't realise it. So, subframe is all in. If you see me doing it twice, taking it out again, it's because I managed to trap the fuel line up round the back of the subframe and the battery cable, even though I consciously thought to myself, make sure you move the cables out of the way. Anyway, I didn't. So there we go, it's all bolted in. The front drivetrain is on, I just need to put the wheels on. So if you're wondering about the brakes, I haven't fitted the calipers because I do plan to fit 4-pot 8.4-inch vented brakes on this, but at the moment, bit of a cash flow crisis. Yeah, I'll do it when I haven't got some bills coming in. But yeah, that's the front altogether. I'm just going to put the wheels on and we will get it down on the ground on its own wheels for the first time in a long time. Right, so it's back on all 4 wheels and rolling. So another milestone. I'm pleased with how it went today. You'll have seen me really sweating. These videos are pretty much up to date, give or take about a week. So it's the end of June. So in the UK, there has been a second heat wave of the year, actually. We had a week of plus 30 degrees. Where I live, down near the south coast, it was sort of 35, 36 for sort of 3 or 4 days, which us Brits, we just can't handle it. So I hadn't been working on the Mini. It was far too hot. Today, it was a much milder, about 25, 26 degrees, but still hot for people like me, not used to that. So really pleased. Yeah, that's the subframe in. Next, we'll be putting the engine in. Yeah, it's all coming together. Obviously I changed tact. I was going to paint the front end before I'd done any of this, but yeah, I think it just gives me a bit more enthusiasm, and certainly it will do once the engine goes in as well. As you can see, the skate's out now, so it's under its own weight. One thing I mentioned a moment ago was I want to get the 8.4 inch vented mini sport calipers for the front. Do they fit behind steel wheels? 12-inch wheels. Just had that thought. I want to keep this. It wants to be a sleeper. I want to keep it on the 12-inch skinny wheels. And yeah, so someone looking at it from the outside wouldn't know. It's got a supercharged engine, but will those brakes fit under steel wheels? If anyone has done it, please do let me know. So there we go. I think that's probably it for today. Good bit of progress. Took me a few hours. Could have probably done it quicker. What gets me is I make mistakes that I've made before. I've just got really bad memory nowadays, so I forget the mistakes I've made. Anyway, it's back together. It's all looking great. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please do consider subscribing and help build the channel. It's completely free. There's no catches. The worst that's going to happen is you'll get notified when I next upload a video. If you want to drop me a comment, I also read all the comments. So thanks for tuning in again this week. I really do appreciate your support. I'll catch you again next week. Cheers.